WWE Clash in Italy is now behind us, and there's a lot to talk about regarding the event. As far as the match of the weekend goes, before I get into the PLE, because the match of the weekend was not at Clash in Italy, it was actually at Triple A's Nachos Belgrande, or whatever it's called. Guys, don't hate me. It was a joke, okay? You know I know what it means. I'm cultured over here. I know it's Noches de los Grandes, okay? I know. El Grande Americano against El Grande Americano. That was the match of the weekend, and in my opinion, is going to be in running for match of the year. The emotion that was displayed, the layers that they peeled throughout that match is what professional wrestling is all about. Because not only was there a story told before you got to the match, but there was also a story told in the match. The layers. This might have been The Undertaker, who's been booking AAA now. This might have been his WrestleMania 40. His WrestleMania 40 main event. This had all of the elements of a epic story concluding with a new chapter dawning ahead. I have every reason to believe they've just created an icon with Kaiser's version of El Grande Americano and another superstar in Chad Gable now that he's unmasked. The funniest thing about that is it would be funny if the Creed brothers kept their masks on and they just kind of kept playing it up when Chad Gable's like, you guys can take the mask off now. The jig is up, right? Another thing to take in from Clash in Italy before Clash in Italy was a backstage interview Kathy Kelly had with Paul Levesque. And it was something about it that it didn't hit me until after the PLE. Now, guys, mind you, this isn't going to be a negative PLE review, okay? I rarely do those. I always find the silver lining. I always find something that I like about it. So hang in there. But this is something that I feel like I need to talk about. My feelings, okay? I need to let my feelings out, right? Kathy Kelly is talking to Paul Levesque, and she brings up, is there anything that you can think of, and I'm paraphrasing here, is there anything that you can think of that would be earth-shattering or that would change the dynamics of the WWE? He mentioned two things. He mentioned Gunther winning the world championship, and he mentioned Jacob Fatu becoming the tribal chief. So the moment that he says this during the pre-show, I go, well, one of those has got to happen. It's just got to happen, right? One of those things has to happen, because that is exactly what WWE needs right now. It needs to shake up their foundation. Everything that they're doing right now is set up to show that they don't care enough to do anything spectacular or to switch anything up. We are just on the same road cruising, and we're running out of gas, and everyone's saying we need to go fill up the gas, and they're like, we're going to keep going. I think we can make it to our destinations. And eventually they're going to be stuck on the side of the road. I think they're going to be stuck on the side of the road creatively. I think they're going to get stuck on the side of the road with a certain percentage of their fan base. Do I think it's going to hurt the overall image? Not at all. Not in the slightest. They'll still find people to come to the arena. Instead of 18,000, it'll be 12. Instead of 55,000, it'll be 40. But they'll still find people to show up. And that's the thing. That's the passion and the soul of the performers. When they're able to bleed through into the crowd and into the viewers watching at home by any way that they're watching at home. That draws us in, and that makes memories and moments that live on for a lifetime. And I just don't think that I see that a lot in professional wrestling. I saw it in El Grande Americano against El Grande Americano, I'm not going to lie to you. I saw it in a few matches, actually, from Double or Nothing. Believe it or not, guys. Believe it or not. I did. Apples to oranges or whatever for some of the guys out there that aren't even fans of AEW, but I saw it. Now, the question is, did I see it for Clash in Italy? So we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it on down like a shotgun. This Clash in Italy had a stellar lineup, man. 5 matches as opposed to what we were kind of used to, which would be like 3 matches. I was very fascinated by the lineup and how it was kind of put together last minute, but it was almost like there's going to be a surprise. You know, something big is going to happen. That's kind of the idea that I got. It's like it's building to something huge here because things were kind of like rushed together and they didn't have a lot of time in between Backlash and Clash in Italy. I believe it was only like 3 weeks. So they had to do these things fairly quickly, but each match had its own purpose, which I really liked. I really liked the fact that there was no filler, you know, that every match there was a meaning for it, you know, and there was a history there and there was a video package, and I did enjoy that. So the question is, does it hold up? So we're going to start with the opening match, which is Cody Rhodes against Gunther for the Undisputed Championship. Gunther! He actually dominated 99% of this match or something like that, 90% of this match if you know, to be less hyperbolic, but he dominated. And seeing that he dominated the way that he did, it was kind of obvious what the conclusion was going to be. I didn't know that it was going to be a type of conclusion that involved the ref missing out on an opportunity, right? I had figured that we would have seen Randy Orton or Sami Zayn get involved in this match and cause a DQ or cause some kind of a nefarious finish. It was tough in predicting this match to see what direction they would go, because you've got Gunther being built up so Teflon and a killer of careers, and then you've got Cody, who just recently won back the Undisputed Championship and is trying to get his momentum back into gear. So it's like they booked themselves into a corner. And I thought, you know, when usually you see creators book themselves into corners, they just go for false finishes. In this regard, they went for a trick finish where Cody won, but Gunther had his foot under the rope, which was kind of weird because he almost looked like he was going to try and kick out before they got to 3. So his foot did come out from under the rope, but they kind of covered it with Michael Cole saying, if your foot is under the rope, you shouldn't, as a referee, you shouldn't even count from the beginning. I'll allow it. I don't have the rule book referee handbook in front of me, so I'll allow that. Although it was a cheap finish. It was a cheap finish. I think that there's more for these two that are in store. Cody technically being 2-0 against Gunther is kind of wild to me, to be honest with you, but knowing that it wasn't a clean finish, I guess kind of lessens that a little bit. Definitely not as long as I expected either, and definitely not anything worthwhile aside from that finish, to be completely honest with you. I think that they need a freshening up of SmackDown so bad that they need to do something. I imagine we get Sami Zayn involved with Cody Rhodes and Gunther somehow like orbiting around this type of a match, trying to cause some chaos and some conflict so that he can get his rematch and get what's rightfully owed to him, which is a clean loss or a clean win, or however he's gonna, imagine it. It is what it is, and it was what it was. But Cody got the victory here. Hopefully they do something exciting on SmackDown to spice that up a little bit, because they need it really bad over there. Rhea Ripley against Jade Cargill in a rematch from their match at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship. This match had no reason being this good. No reason. I know. I haven't seen the comments of people or watched videos of people, so I don't know what people think of this particular match. I thought this match was way better than WrestleMania's match. I think it went double the WrestleMania time. And they had their working shoes on. They had their working boots on in this match. This was really good, and I had no idea it was going to be that good. These women have been practicing together. I don't like saying that, but they've got chemistry, and it's nice. Their transitions and stuff, it's not always like super clean, but you can tell they're dancing in the ring, and you don't dance in the ring with somebody unless you practice your moves, your steps, and I like it. I like their choreography, I guess you should say. They work well. They're like they're a powerhouse. They're powerhouses, and it works because they move quick, and I buy the finishes, the false finishes. I buy a lot of that stuff. So I thought this was really good, really close to match of the night for me, because it just had all of the aspects of a match: the crowd's involvement, good selling, believable false finishes, limited interference, and great. It's like they studied, like this wasn't just like they were rehashing their first match. They were showing you that they did their homework on one another and had good counters and good reversals, and Rhea knew it too, because Rhea was getting frustrated. There was just a lot there, a lot of emotionality. It was a good sequel to their WrestleMania match, and one of the rare ones where the sequel actually surpasses the original. So like Terminator 2. So come at me in the comments on that. I'm with it. Come get me in the comments. Terminator 2 better than Terminator. And Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley 2 better than Jade Cargill, Rhea Ripley 1. So Rhea Ripley won. And moving on. Brock Lesnar against Obafemi. This match went about 2 minutes longer than their match they had at WrestleMania. The conclusion of this match was not in question. We knew Brock was winning. We just didn't know how. And to their credit, they did everything they possibly could to make Oba look like a monster. Legitimately almost making him look like The Undertaker or some kind of zombified version of Obafemi, where it was like he can't die. He just keeps getting up. It wasn't Obafemi in the ring. It was like Jason Voorhees was in the ring. Brock gave him 7 F5s, and I believe on the 6th F5, it was through a table, and Corey Graves, he's been on fire this whole weekend. I mean, props to Corey Graves. He's had a long weekend. The guy's voice is going to be shot on Monday. Like, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he was able to carry himself so good. But he was like, Obafemi's eyes rolled back in the back of his skull after he went through that table and somehow made it up before the 10 count. Like, I'm like, you're proving my point here. You're proving my point that they've got some kind of like super serum in Obafemi now. He's like Super Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie in the 90s, where he's just like a bigger version of what he was in NXT. He's superhuman almost. I don't know if they're going to make him a zombie. I don't know if they're going to make him like that, but they definitely can go that route. Like I say, the next time you see Oba, he's got the black circles around his eyes and he blows powder in your face and you get tripped out like that. That would be sick. I'm because me, I like the fucking goofy shit, the supernatural shit. I'm all about that. That's why I like Leo Rush in his Blackheart phase. I'm a big fan of that. So give me the goofy shit. If you want zombified Obafemi, I'm all for that, because they really went out of the way to make him look as legit as possible, even with one arm. The way that he picked up Brock Lesnar, it astounded me. They've got to be best friends. I don't know. They must be golf buddies or something, but Brock likes Oba, yo. Brock really likes Oba. That's my opinion. Brock likes Oba. And the only way that I can tell is because he never did that for Braun Strowman. He never did that for some of his opponents. Bobby Lashley, he never did that for Bobby Lashley. He gives Oba so much, man. He makes Oba look great. Oba's gonna miss him when he's gone, bro. I think Oba's like, can we get another match, please? Don't let him leave. He makes me look so good. Oba, what a great dance partner for Oba and Brock Lesnar, man. He makes Oba look like $1,000,000, and hopefully the next dance partner that Oba has makes him look half as good as the way Brock makes him look. Straight up. Like I said, the ending of this match was never in question, okay? We never expected Brock to lose 2 in a row to Obafemi, but it was about how. And I would have expected nefarious means. I know I expected nefarious means with Cody Rhodes and Gunther. I expected nefarious means with the Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill, or did I? I can't even remember right now. But you got to understand the way that this feud is layered is trying to make Oba the best. And by losing clean like that, even after 7 F5s, it was questionable to me. I don't know, I don't know. It was fine for what it was. I mean, it was a blockbuster match, man. It was a popcorn match. 6 minutes. It felt like a lot longer than that. The crowd was into it. Every move was exciting. It was just a fun match. It was Bad Boys. It was Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, man. It's a popcorn action flick. It was Transformers. It's Fast and the Furious. It was a popcorn flick in a movie. A summer blockbuster. Brock says we're 1-1, bitch. So I guess we're getting that third match soon. I would assume Saudi Arabia, but they could hold it off for SummerSlam. Who knows? And for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, Sol Ruca battled Becky Lynch. They gave them a lot of time, 14 minutes here. I think Sol looked really good here. I think she's still dealing with jitters and trying to find her footing and confidence and whatnot, but her losing 3 in a row or something like crazy like that didn't do her any favors either. Like if they have confidence in Sol Ruca, then why did they have her lose so many matches, including a match to Becky, before finally getting a win here? And the win, flash pinfall win, is something I expected that they were going to do in a way. She's got a lot to prove now, though, because they didn't really establish that she could be a champion when she came onto the main roster. You have to do your homework and go back to NXT before you can understand why we should believe that she's a champion in this scenario. I think Becky Lynch is on a tour of making these young women feel legitimate and like they're able to stand beside her, and I applaud her for that. Using her legacy, using her stature to build up a young women's roster, starting with Lyra Valkyria and Maxine Dupree, and now going on to Sol Ruca. I think it's amazing what she's doing, and I applaud her for it. I mean, she needs the flowers, She needs the flowers, because Becky Lynch is doing a phenomenal job buying it. Like, I don't know why they haven't been able to continue the momentum for Lyra Valkyria. To me, it seems like Maxine Dupree is on her way to being a valet for Austin Theory, and I don't mind that at all. I think that actually works out really well. I think that's something that Kevin Knight actually needs in AEW. He needs a valet. He needs a female that can wrestle too, that can be by his side. Like Kevin Knight would use Red Velvet. I think they would work really well together. And Austin Theory with Maxine Dupree, they look like a power couple. They look like they can get out of a limo and walk the red carpet and be Hollywood. They match. They're aesthetically pleasing, and you hate to look at them because they look so good. That's money. That is so money. And that's probably Paul Heyman that said that. I guarantee you. Paul Heyman was like, Theory, you need a head cheerleader or whatever, and I think it works like perfectly. But I digress. I'm going back to what Becky's doing. Please, WWE, don't cancel the momentum. Don't opt out of all of the momentum that Becky is giving to these future women superstars. Lyra Valkyria, Maxine Dupree, and now Sol Ruca. Let's keep the momentum going for these women so that you have stars once these other performers decide to retire. That is the goal. And Becky Lynch, she sees the mission. She is on it, and I appreciate her. So Sol Ruca gets the win here. This was decent for what it was. It was a good match. And what's even better is hopefully what they have planned for Sol Ruca on the other side of this. And I hope they have something. I really do. And now for the main event, Tribal Combat, Roman Reigns against Jacob Fatu for the position of Tribal Chief of the Anoa'i family. How many people look at that name and think it's pronounced Anoa'i? Yeah, I see you over there. You don't. You didn't know it was spelled that way. Anoa'i. Whatever. Anyways, Tribal Combat, great match. All the intensity that you would have expected. They go out into the crowd early. They had these believable near falls. It wasn't as crazy as I thought it was. You didn't have the family around the ring like I thought it was. They didn't have the tribal theme going like the Punjabi prison match that they had for Great Khali or whatever. I think the Island of Samoa theme, they could have really used that, but they didn't. There was a lot of brawling, a lot of trash talking from Roman, as to be expected. Jacob Fatu, in my opinion, was in rare form here. He knows how to work the WWE main event style, and it didn't take him that long to pick up on it. So that's another reason why I felt like they should have pulled the trigger on him. Obviously I was wrong with that prediction. I also did a video, what if Jacob Fatu won? Like I really felt like it was time for him to get his flowers, but I understand why they didn't go that route and whatnot. It's fine. Roman's money, Cody's money, and you want to keep the money going, right? You want those guys on top. But sometimes the money's in the chase. And I felt like with Roman, if he chased this idea that the bloodline is crumbling around him and there's a new tribal chief, how do I usurp this new tribal chief? And how do I continuously acknowledge him, knowing and get him to trust me, infiltrate? Because he's unhinged and he's crazy. So I just need to get him to trust that I believe in him and I will let him lead while he's fucking up and destroying everything around him. And then I can find the opportunity to get in there, whether it be a Money in the Bank cash in or whether it be a Royal Rumble victory or something, I don't know. But I just felt like there could be ways to make that story so much more intriguing and interesting, on top of the fact that knowing that the throne is being occupied by an insane person, other members from the Anuai family or the Tongas would come out and try and take that crown. I just think there's so much to that story that would have been fascinating. And it's not that I'm hurt that Jacob lost. Jacob, he's young. There is still so much time to establish him as a legitimate person. And knowing that he was in a main event at one of WWE's first PLEs in Italy against someone like Roman Reigns is big enough. But Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns. Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns at one point. Wasn't for a title, but he beat him nonetheless. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I'm going to leave it at that. As far as the PLE goes, what Scott Keith would call perfectly acceptable show. Perfectly acceptable wrestling. That's my opinion of it. It was a little notch above a house show to me. And I'm not trying to really shit on it. I'm just being honest. It was a little above a house show. There was predictable conclusions. There was one title change, however, but there wasn't that big PLE feel. It seemed like they were moving things along to get to the next PLE, build a couple of matches and have them ready, and then just keep the momentum going until they get there. Charlotte and Jade, I'm sure, is going to be there. Sammy and Cody is going to be there. Roman probably teaming with Jacob Fatu against the Vision or something is probably going to be there. We'll see how that rolls. Man, I would have loved to see Oba and Brock team up. I mean, it still could be possible. We'll see. But I would like to see them as a tag team, against like Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Man, that's a main event, That's a main event. All right, anyways, I'm done. That was my opinion of Clash in Italy. I don't hate the show. I don't think it was bad at all, but it was just a PLE, and it was serviceable. And I would say if you didn't want to watch the whole PLE and you're like, wrestling old head, which one match or two matches can I watch that I really feel like I need to watch, right? It would be Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, and it would be Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu, and honorable mention Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. Or maybe I should switch that around. Brock Lesnar and Obafemi and Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, honorable mention Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. And that's my final answer, y'all. So, but you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. What did you think of Clash in Italy? What was your favorite match? What was your least favorite match? And what are your predictions for Roman Reigns going forward and for Cody Rhodes going forward? You guys let me know that in the comment section down below, guys. If you like this video and more, don't forget to join us in the portal of pro wrestling by hitting the subscribe button and the notifications bell so we can talk about pro wrestling together. This is the Wrestling Old Head, you guys. On your way out, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up on the notification, or hit the thumbs up on the subscribe button. It'll do me a lot of favors to get me out there so that I can cultivate this community of wrestling fans, and we can talk about the product that we love so much. I thank you guys again. I'm flabbergasted. I'm stuttering. It's been a long day, but thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.